Welcome back to the Dominion's campaign Abridged, where last time we were back to battling over the southern end of the sea, just like many episodes prior. Well, in the last part, we took some of it back and pushed the purple faction towards the land, still got a bit to go. Although, in the back and forth, our god was killed, so that bodes quite poorly. Well, we've also had some side projects go somewhat successfully. We've got random bits of land on either side of the sea. Here we're denying the orange guys a bit of territory. They don't have much stuff in this area, so I'm going to cheekily try to capture that fort to the north and hold on to that. This will just stop them recruiting quite so much stuff and lessen the threat on our seas, hopefully, without taking too many of our military resources. There's an interesting discovery. There's one tile that looks like it can't access that bottom sea tile there, but it can. The arrow just somehow goes across two tiles. Very handy, so I can make a counterattack against the purple guys using my anti-yellow guys garrison. And our main focus will be to take back that big sea tile on the left, Monster Depths. Well, by the next turn, things are looking better. I didn't bother to look at any battles this time, but here we are with the sea now under our control, and we're back having those two bits of land on the peninsula. I think we've been in this spot before. Well, we've reversed all of the backwards progress we've made recently. Time to make some more progress, forward or back, well, let's see. We storm forwards and successfully capture the enemy's capital region. There's not much there, but again we're besieging the castle, another situation we've been in before. We're also being attacked somewhere over to the right by the Agarthan faction. These guys don't seem to have many troops, and they keep making these really small attacks for some reason. I'm mainly not going to commentate on this, but for some reason I decided to look at this one in particular, a triumph of the trash, as our terrible garrison actually manages to hold off those few units. Well done to them. We've also got a successful attack up against the orange guys, where we are going to be taking this little fort because it's barely defended by anything. This army has tons of mages going towards the new meta build, where I focus on having the mage type of squid guys to back up our meteorite guard main body of troops. It does pretty well, and we capture another area. With the siege down here, I checked out my army and I thought this army is actually pretty strong. We've massed quite well. We might as well try and attack right away, and indeed, we didn't have to actually siege the castle down. We immediately breached the walls, so I guess our army is that big at the very least. So we're going to go for it before all of the other stuff to the left masses up and counterattacks. And here is our attack. The enemy absolutely spammers with raised dead guys coming from this huge group of necromancers they have at the back. The good part about that is a lot of them came out of the walls and died early, so we were a bit less choke pointed at first, but now of course we are choke pointed and we're getting hit by these slingers. Luckily there's not that much choke pointing us, and we do break in, so here is the big moment. We can rush forwards, take out the priests and the slingers with our meteorite guards, or can we? That's that, we just lose the battle. I have no idea what went wrong there. Everybody still waiting to go in just withdrew, the guys already storming inside withdrew, and that's the end of that. We lost a bunch more guys as they went. We ended up losing about half of our troops apparently, whereas the enemy lost everything but one guy according to those stats. They had one soldier left when we routed, or by the end of the fight, by the end of the rout. Not looking good, so frustrating. I really dislike that the battles happen off screen, I guess. Like, you just come in waiting to see what's happened, you failed, and there's nothing you can do about it, and you don't even really know why. Very frustrating. And one thing I'll say is that I've actually played about 5 hours ahead in this campaign from this point. And I really wish we'd killed that one extra guy, because I think things would have gone very different and wouldn't be so similar to this in 5 hours' time. For now, we'll be back to just holding on that front. We do have some pretty good prospects here on the Merengian front, the orange guys, because I've built up quite a lot of stuff and they haven't really responded to my little land grab here. So I thought we might as well just keep going. Let's have some more and see how much we can steal. Every province we take is some money they're not making it harder for them to come back. They're clearly distracted with something off to the west, I presume. Into the next turn, more assassination stuff going on. We face an attack from the purple guys at Monster Depths, but it is quite easily repulsed by the looks of things. We barely took any casualties. That's great, that thins them out a bit. We've also successfully captured some orange territory. Useful also because we're blowing up their temples doing this. We'll eventually get some more Dominion opportunities as a result of that. Maybe, at least. We've also got the Agathans coming at us again, this time with a large-scale assault that fortunately was stopped. I don't really know how they didn't beat us in this battle, because they're coming at us with numerical superiority and we're defending only with our lowest quality troops. So we just somehow held them off. Maybe this faction also has a whole bunch of trash. A lot of their stuff seemed to retreat early on and then we just somehow won the battle. Great stuff over there. I'm now already starting to plan an attack again against Scleria, I think they were called, the purple guys as I've been calling them, because I want to go after their capital region and just at least occupy it even if we can't take the castle, to stop them coming back so quickly. And with our momentum carrying on against the orange guys, I thought let's go for this attack right here. There is a throne of ascension in those woods and the enemy only have a tiny army defending that area, so we're going to pile on in and try to take it. I'm also doing this little project in the bottom right. I've been building up this human army mainly to defend against the yellow faction in this area, but if they're not attacking me I might as well attack them, so we're going to do some trash waves over there. And we're also making a tiny bit of progress against the green faction. My little land grab here is extending into a tile with a castle in it, so not extending very much, but that's happening, but with very few resources, so don't expect too much from that. Looks like we have once again taken the enemy's capital region against the purple guys. That's great news. We've successfully taken a part of a region from the yellows, again guarded by a castle, so we can't take all of it. However, the attack against the Throne of Ascension was repulsed easily. The enemy had a gigantic provincial army, the thing that you can't see before you attack, and their units are fairly good. So all of our stuff on that Meringian land grabbing front has been mostly killed, and now we're in trouble. We also repulsed another Agarthan attack, but then lost a battle to them, so they've now moved down into the sea right there. Inconvenient for us. I was more concerned about this front though, because with the loss of most of our units over here, we're going to be super vulnerable to a counterattack, just when it looked like things were actually going surprisingly well there. That's a shame. Let's see how things are at the start of the next turn. Another battle at monster depth by the looks of things, and another easy win. We're trading very well with the purple guys. That's going to be helping out immensely in the long term. Looks like we've taken a minor bit of territory from the orange guys, but that's another one with a castle in it. Another attack from Agartha comes in and is repelled. So I don't know why they're constantly attacking us with small armies, but we've held loads of them off now. I'm sure that's thinned them out as well. I did though try to take back the bit of sea that they captured from us and failed. I went down to look at this battle just thinking, how did I fail? There's barely anything here. However, their barely anything might just be good units as opposed to the trash units that I was remarking on just earlier. This time our trash does effectively nothing and actually routs almost as soon as they engage. That was that then. We'll have to put something more substantial together to get our sea back. Now I notice Meringian have a serious army that's appeared in our line of sight. So with that in mind, we're going to start running away. I won't try to cheekily go after that castle as I appeared to be. They might be able to defeat us even if we clustered together all of our units here, so a very dangerous situation. Here's the next end turn report. More assassinations as usual. Another attack on monster depth that went poorly for the enemy. Thank you very much. They're obsessed with attacking and it's going very poorly for them. Same deal with Agartha, I suppose. They're attacking Hippocampus's Fortune, another sea tile the AI has become fixated on taking. And they're just failing by sending in forces that are too small. Maybe the AI doesn't remember how big the army you had there was, or presumes you moved away or something. Although it's provincial defense armies there for the most part, which it should remember. I don't know how it works. But the Meringian force has now shifted closer to us up there, so we're closer to being in trouble. And against the purple guys, well, most of their stuff is sitting down here in the sea. A nice position to counterattack our siege if they want to. And on a similar note, the yellow guys are now mustering near this siege I set up on our border with them. I'm not too serious about fighting with the yellow guys. I probably would have been earlier in the campaign, but it's getting to the stage when I'm like, I don't want to have to be making offensives on every front, despite my earlier claims. So while I'm going to make these cheeky attacks, if they actually resist, we'll just run away. Although I nearly ordered my troops to just go and attack them. We're going to get out of there. This army is pure trash. The humans in our army absolutely suck. So we'll just defend and cower and hope they don't attack us. and that does work there for the most part. Here's me discovering something new. I was clicking around again, it seems, and happened to come across a crafting system, so you can make equipment and equip stuff to your characters, your commanders, to increase their stats. Well, I looked through this for a while, I don't think I actually made anything, and then I didn't look at it again after that. The simple reason was I'm already intellectually overwhelmed by this game. I simply can't think about another thing. I still haven't gotten around to working out how the spells work, I still haven't gotten around to working out how formations work, so the crafting system, it's just too far off for me. I'm only showing this in case people wondered if I ever discovered it. Well, I've seen it, but I haven't used it. Here's the next turn stuff. You can see I have done something new. I've got this cast Voice of Tiamat message. That's a spell you can use to just see what's in an area, all the hidden buildings that are there become available, and generate magical crystals, which we're barely using because I'm barely using any magic. But I am slowly starting to get into using magic and seeing what things we can do. We've barely researched anything, and we're still barely researching anything due to my general incompetence. Well, there's some good news. We did take back that sea tile we lost, so our unity of seaborne hegemony has been restored. We also have another massive battle at Monster Depths. They are just absolutely going for it. This time they sent in lots of stuff, and I wanted to see what's actually happening. How can we keep beating them so easily? I think what the deal is that Monster Depths has a unique unit as its provincial defense army, this orange merman thing, and it's just better than the usual mermen. It charges forward and just annihilates the enemy. We also have a decent commander and a bunch of stuff, including the remnants of our Shark Cav Brigade, and it appears to be doing the business, so that's all good. Against the green guys, I've now opened the walls of the fort I've had under siege for a long time. I was too scared to attack though, both because I don't know what's going to be in there, and I've been stung many times by that already, but also because they have a big army next door. So I thought maybe I should just sit here and try to tempt them into relieving the siege, so we don't have to fight on the castle map, and maybe that will go better for us. Down against the purple guys, I withdrew from my sieging position at their capital, just because things are getting too dangerous. This is the start of my new trend towards playing more cautiously, because it takes us such a long time to mass troops. I've decided to be less aggressive essentially, and with the purple guys massing troops easily, my main hope is to kind of cluster everything together and take a defensive battle with the provincial units there to help out, maybe trade very well, and then think about going on the offensive if the trade is good enough. Another thing to note is that big orange army that came over to torment me, well, it's just kind of staying where it is. I figured they'd try to move the border back to where it was before at the coast, but even though I've left the edge of our territory mostly undefended out of fear, they're actually not attacking it, they're just sitting there. I think the AI doesn't know what I have, or doesn't know what it wants to do. It's wasting some time, absolutely ideal, because I can slowly build back and reorganize as a result. I'm confident that if they did attack, they would beat us. So this is perfect. It's kind of the opposite of the situation with purple and black, where they keep attacking us pointlessly and failing, just losing troops when they would obviously lose those fights. Whereas with orange, they would obviously win, but then not attacking. So two opposite sides of the same questionable AI coin appears to be allowing us to hold on here more effectively than we really should be. Let's have one more turn for this part. This turn wasn't too eventful, actually. I need to end the video here though, basically, because the turns take a really long time in real life. That's mainly because I'm constantly paralyzed by indecision, and it takes me ages to work out what to do, especially if I'm trying to find the things I forgot from previous turns, the projects, the movement orders, and keep them going, which leaves me clicking around my increasingly large number of tiles for ages. Well, all that aside, we had some assassinations, there was a minor battle against the red faction there, which we'll come back to in a second, and we've successfully killed some enemy agents. We're getting better about patrolling to take down stuff hidden in our territories. Looks like purple are swelling up again, so soon we'll probably have another decisive battle with them, and we'll try to just not lose it too hard, maybe even win in a somewhat convincing fashion. Well, it's all up to fate at this stage. Here's what I did against the red faction. I actually gave up. attacking that green castle because I was just too fearful for how wrong it would go, and instead moved to a nearby pretty empty territory controlled by red and just took it so we can have some money off it or something. Really just looking for something to do with these troops, but now I appear to be going straight back in to re-attack the green faction. Perhaps I was waiting to see if the green army to the north would go away. It hasn't, but I can reinforce with a big army coming up from the sea. I think I took some troops down from the front defending the Throne of Ascension to reinforce here. Well, as I said, we need to arbitrarily end things at this random point because I'm out of time. Next time, well, the war on every front will simply continue. I feel like we made a bit of progress in this part. Maybe there's a bit more to be had next time. But, as mentioned earlier, I've played ahead, although only a couple of hours from this footage ahead now, and I kinda know what happens. It's probably going to be similar to this episode.